Welcome to another edition of Mailbag. Remember, these are questions and comments that you guys leave on the channel that I think are worthy of further exploration. And again, like I've done with many of the other mailbags recently, I'm recording a block header for the multiple items that are going to appear in this particular mailbag session. But before we get going, we must observe normal parish notices. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, why not hit the subscribe icon? If you want to be notified when videos like this, the rant, or specifically about pieces of equipment hit the channel, you need to click the bell icon as well. If you like the contents of the video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the video, it really helps the channel. And if you feel so inclined, put comments down below. I read the lot. I have to release them from the quarantine area on the channel. And also sometimes I make videos about your comments and suggestions. So that's just the way it is. And finally, down here somewhere is the TMTG community address. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, which I feel is really a bargain, you can support the work the channel does in producing videos about equipment that musicians use. But now, back to this video. Okay, the next one comes from JD Soul 69. Anything that's got JD and Soul in it is cool by me. And this is in response to the MIDI segmentation video, basic concept of using a MIDI patch panel video I did, and this is going back about 3 years. So that would have been about 2018, 2017, this one. Appreciate this greatly. I've got a KAWAI Mav-8 and have a MIDI feed going with multiple devices, but in my DAW I'm not getting any audio feed with stereo cables connected all. Any clues what would be gratefully appreciated. Now, I've said many times on the channel that trying to diagnose one of these things is difficult, but there are some pointers in the question and how it's been phrased. So the first thing, I have to be honest, I've got little or no experience with the KAWAI Mav-8. I've done a little bit of research from it, and from what I can tell, it is a MIDI routing device, much the same as the Roland A80. But the first question I have to ask is how you capturing the audio. And the reason I ask that is because the Mav-8 has no audio capability for starters. So I'm assuming that you're using a separate audio capture device to route the audio into the DAW. So the first thing to work out is effectively, is the actual instrument receiving MIDI? And if it's receiving MIDI, have you got the routing right? And that's not the easiest thing to do. And that was one of the reasons why I have purchased several A110s, sorry, which are effectively a picture of a keyboard. And every time you press a key on a MIDI device, you can see what note is being transmitted, because this thing tells you. I mean, you can also look at the MIDI trail, but when you're in a studio trying to diagnose something, having a light that flashes at you is far easier than trying to read what's coming through the CC. But either way, you can do either one. So that's the first thing, is you basically have to go around the MIDI circuit, understanding whether you're actually capturing. And I use a MIDI patch panel, and it's dead easy to actually move the cable so it goes into the in of the A110 and comes out of the A110 from its out, and then I can intercept each leg of the MIDI spider, if you like, to understand whether the MIDI signal is actually moving to the instruments. So that's the first thing I kind of look at, is if you've got no MIDI going down the train, then that's obviously where the issues come in. You've got a routing issue. The second thing is, have you got the recipient device listening on the same channel as the sending device? Because again, if you've got that wrong, you know, this one's listening on 5 and this one's sending on 6, you're not gonna get any sound out of it. But what I would say about the Mav-8 is it appears to be a very, very simplistic MIDI routing and merging device. There are 4 inputs, 8 outputs. On the front you have 8 faders representing the outputs that lock into a position. So effectively what you do is take input 1 and route it to output 2, for argument's sake. It's very, very simplistic. It's not as complex as the A880. And the other side of this is I'd look at the device itself and just make sure that those routing connections are actually making good contact when you put the faders in the right position. So you might have to crack it open and use an oscilloscope just to make sure you've got signals running through the thing when the pins are in various positions. Other than that, I'm not sure I can give much more help unless you want to get back in contact and walk through exactly what steps you've taken to try and diagnose your Mav-8. The next one comes from Twilight 1964. One of my favourite songs by the ELO was Twilight, by the way. And he or she has written in response to the Yamaha SY85 Part 6 memory upgrade video I did in June 2020. And the question is, what type of memory is it? I'm looking to get one of these, and it would be looking to upgrade the memory if it hasn't been done. So, very quick synopsis. The SY85 has two types of memory, okay? It has volatile memory and non-volatile memory, okay? So the volatile memory, when you switch the power off, boom, everything goes, right? If it's non-volatile memory, it's protected by the battery backup in the unit, I believe. But there are two types of memory and two different styles of memory chips that actually service both of them. So the non-volatile memory is, well, if I take what's in my machine, and I have actually got photographs of it, is Samsung KMM5825-6A-8 memory. Okay, I'll put that in the list below. And the non-volatile memory is SYEMB06, and you can get the non-volatile stuff from Sector 101, who specialises in SY85 stuff. They will sell you it at £31 per module, and you need two of them, so that's £62 plus packaging from that particular company. Now, you might want to hunt around the internet and see if you can get it cheaper, but I have to be honest and say, if you go to Brian at Sector 101, you'll get it very, very quickly, and you'll also have someone to fall back on if it doesn't work. So, there you go. That's the memory for the SY85.